To create an outgoing wire, first choose Initiate Single Wire from the Payments and Transfers menu, and the Initiate a Single Outgoing Wire screen will appear. Select the FreeForm format, and then the wire type FreeForm wire from a US dollar USD account. Leave the default location of your beneficiary bank as United States of America. Click Continue, and the Wire Instructions entry screen will appear. Here you'll enter your wire payment instructions. Please note that all fields with an asterisk are required. From the drop-down menu, select the SVB USD debit account that you'll use for funding this wire. Then enter the processing date, which is the date that SVB will process the wire. The processing date defaults to the current day, or if it's past the cutoff time, the next bank business day. You can also click the calendar icon to select a date up to 60 calendar days in the future. Next, enter the transaction amount. It can be entered with or without a decimal and/or commas. However, wires including cents must include the decimal point. Next, you'll need to enter the beneficiary details. First, enter the beneficiary account, omitting spaces and special characters. Next, enter the complete beneficiary name. It must be entered in its entirety. If it's longer than 35 characters, enter the remaining characters in the first address line and continue in lines 2 and 3. Enter the beneficiary address on the required 2 address lines. Next, enter the beneficiary bank information using one of 2 methods. Click the Search for your beneficiary's bank link to look up and select a bank by name or routing number. Your selection from the bank search results will automatically appear. Click on the bank name and it will automatically load the beneficiary bank instructions to your wire. Please note this database is updated quarterly and may not have the beneficiary bank listed. Alternatively, or if your beneficiary bank is not listed, you can enter bank information manually. Click the radio button to activate the entry fields and manually enter your information. When entering information, you must provide the correct bank name, city, state, country, and ABA number. The remaining fields are optional. The originator to beneficiary instructions are the details you wish to provide to your beneficiary to assist in identifying this payment. It's typically used to enter payment details such as invoice numbers. Bank-to-bank instructions are additional instructions to the receiving bank, such as for further credit to accounts. Intermediary bank instructions are typically not needed unless there is an intermediary bank involved in receiving the funds. Click Continue when you've finished entering your instructions, and you'll be advised of any missing entries. The verification screen will now appear. Review your instructions for accuracy, and if changes are needed, click Change to return to the wire entry screen. It's important that you do not use your browser back button or your session may time out. When you're ready to submit the wire, click Send to Approver, which will appear if this wire requires approval before being sent to SVB for processing, or click Submit, which will appear if this wire can be submitted to SVB for processing without further approval. The confirmation screen will appear. To obtain a printed confirmation and status of your submitted instructions, including the number of approvals required and the SVB Online Banking Generated Transaction ID, click the printer icon at either top or bottom right corner of the screen. Users authorized to approve wires will be notified of wires pending their approval through an SVB Online Banking Bulletin displayed upon login and/or an optional email notification. They must log into SVB Online Banking to approve wires. Wires must be approved by the appropriate cutoff time to be processed by SVB. If you have template creation entitlements for the debit account used for this wire, you have the option to save these instructions for future use. To save these instructions as a template, enter a unique template code field provided at the bottom of the screen and then click Save as Template. You'll receive confirmation of your saved template, including the number of approvals required before it can be used for initiation. Click New Wire to enter instructions for an additional wire payment. Otherwise, select your next service or function from the SVB Online Banking menu. If your wire is pending approval, you can track its status by selecting Outgoing Wire Inquiry from the Payment and Transfers menu. Enter search criteria for the wire, either transaction ID or other criteria such as processing date, debit account, and/or amount. To view confirmation of your wire's execution after it's processed by Silicon Valley Bank, you can view its confirmation in the SVB Online Banking Account Reporting module. Select Transaction Details from the Accounts tab. Enter your specific search criteria, including the date range of this transaction and the specific funding account. Then choose Outgoing Wires as the transaction group for your search. Your results will include any executed wires matching the requested search criteria. You must have account reporting entitlement for the debit account in order to view the wire.